Harendra, just a quick word on autos as well before we get in actually to some more ideas, because autos stood out in trade yesterday, a big bounce. Today we're seeing a lot of technical trading calls as well coming in that space. What is the fundamental view there? Which auto company are you guys biased towards?
So we like Hero MotoCorp as a structural buy on consumption because of good ROEs, a lot of spend on R&D, export markets, as well as very good valuations. So that is one. And second, of course, is Tata Motors. So I think both these stocks have been doing well. I think additionally one can also look at Ashok Leyland. I think this is an early part of broad economic recovery that we are seeing, and we think the momentum on the CV cycle and public transport is going to increase dramatically. So while the stock has done extremely well and people get circumspect at higher price points, we would advise people to stay long on Ashok Leyland. So the pecking order will be Hero, Tata Motors, and Ashok Leyland in this space.
Talk strengths in autos, and CK's positional play as well is Hero Honda today. CK, what's the strategy here?
I think Hero Moto, had pushed up and kind of consolidated its gains for a while. What is very encouraging about the chart is that in and through market reactions and volatile market reactions at that, Hero was largely unfazed and managed to maintain its uptrend status. And then once, the dust died down, the stock actually pushed even further. And it's consolidating those gains. So clearly what is visible on the charts is that some larger players are at work in this stock and they are accumulating it, and they don't seem to be in too much of a hurry. Now, like Harendra was explaining, everything looks to be positive, and I think the markets and the charts are reflecting that kind of positive feeling towards Hero Moto, and I think further gains are definitely in order here. I see a minimum price target at about 31.20 that can be harnessed through a positional play, which is why it features on my list today as a positional play, as a buy at 28.50, 28.75 region, keeping a stop over at least 50 points. We have to give extra room to breathe when we are taking positional plays, and then looking for a target, as I said, about 3100.
Okay, and Mitesh, your ideas. And again, I'm not surprised that Shriram Transport Finance finds mention, simply because that stock was extremely active in trade yesterday, went up quite substantially in the dying moments too. What levels would you be comfortable buying it? Actually, couple that up with your call on Z as well.
Yeah, so Shriram Transport Finance, good setup on the intraday charts, positive breakout taking place over there. My belief is that the stock has triggered some kind of short-term up move. Would look at targets of 960 and recommend a buy with a stop at 909. And Z, I think, is a negative call. It's trading with a negative chart structure, and but the stock is just above support levels of 380. So in case the market opens strong and the stock doesn't respond and starts getting below 380, it could be a good short call. Sell below 379.5 with a stop at 386 for targets of around 365.
Okay, just give the targets and the stop losses for Shriram Transport Finance as well. The strategy is to buy it with a stop of 909 and a target of 960. That is Mitesh Thakkar's call on Shriram Transport. Okay, of course, Siddarth Bhamre is also with us on the show today. And Siddarth, we'll get your market call in a bit, Siddarth, but since we are talking stocks right now, let's start off with your first idea, and that's Larsen. And you did see some short positions starting to build up on Larsen.
Yeah, hi. Neeraj, we observed that, rally in this counter from 1000 levels to 1200 plus levels was predominantly because of short covering. We didn't see any formation of long positions, and between this 1220 to 1240 it has a strong resistance, and we are seeing some formation of short positions. Stock has displayed signs of weakness in last couple of trading sessions with formation of some short positions. I'm not expecting a huge fall. That's why if you look at my target price, it's not very significant. I'm expecting it to drift down to 1145 odd levels. Fix a stop loss somewhere near the resistance of around 1220, 1221 and go short over here.
Right. And Siddarth, why is IDFC a buy call today?
So IDFC has been languishing in a very, very narrow range. Yeah, Aisha, 39 on the higher side, 37.50, 38 on the lower side, and no activity happening. Just yesterday we have seen 3% built up happening, and after quite some time we are seeing some built up. I don't see any downside in this stock from current levels, so I'm preempting that there would be further fresh formation of long positions. So it's more of a preemptive call, and I'm expecting the stock to show a decent move because it's been long that the stock is consolidating, and any move will result into a breakout. Any small move also would result into a breakout. So I'm expecting stock to go till 43 odd levels, fix a stop loss of 36 and go long over here.
Okay, and HDIL Siddarth, that is also a buy.
So this would actually would be very subjective to other derivative guys who would be listening to me. We have seen 2 consecutive days of high open interest building up. Last 2 trading sessions stock has corrected. So ideally, if you look at on face of it, on statistics, you will see that these are short positions. But the way stock has moved in last 1.5 months, I believe that this is not just short position, it is blend of long and short. And you know how HDL kind of stock reacts, when it starts moving in a direction, then it moves substantially in that direction. But in yesterday's trading session, we didn't see any follow-up selling. So that makes me believe that, and if I club the data of last 1.5 months, it makes me believe that these were not short positions and there are some long positions in it. So I am expecting the stock not to correct significantly from current levels, and I'm expecting a bounce back till 73, 74 odd levels. Fix the stop somewhere around 64 and go long over here.
Okay, so that's a slew of ideas, and we'll actually get some nifty strategies from Siddarth Bhamre a bit later on the show as well. Let's talk about some stocks which will move based on news. And, I want to come to you with Tata Steel because the board has rejected the turnaround plan for the UK operations, Sandeep. And it was a tussle of sorts, a lot of talk about which way the board will sway. Somehow I think they've taken what could arguably be a prudent stance.
I think it's absolutely right stance. There's no way those operations are going to recover. Given the way the entire minimum wage story is playing out in most of these Western economies, there's no way you are going to sustain such kind of manufacturing operations out there. So I think cutting your losses is the best thing for them to do as of now. Domestically, they are very strongly placed in terms of their overall operations. This was the big drag. And as this goes away, it could have positive fallouts on the stock.
Siddarth, I can't help but not talk about pharmaceuticals and the weakness that one has seen in names like a Lupin. Although the management clarified there was fundamental news why the stock tanked the way it did. It's seen a bit of a recovery from the lows of the day. But largely, what is your opinion on pharmaceuticals and names like Lupin in particular?
Traditionally, Aisha, these sectors are considered to be, defensive sector, and stock generally move opposite to markets. And for various reasons, and I don't know how all of a sudden FDA is all active on Indian companies, and these companies are going through tough times, and markets are doing well. We are seeing, significant formation of short positions in some of the names. So when you have a market which is doing well, when you have some of the high beta names and large cap names which are doing well, I don't think so people should start thinking about, okay, pharma has corrected significantly, so I should start buying, or probably it is nearing support. Even if they were not correcting, they wouldn't have gone up because they had outperformed when markets were not doing well. So my suggestion to traders would be at this point of time that whether Lupin, Wockhardt, Cipla, barring Dr. Reddy's, don't find supports, don't trade in them. Look, if you want to go long, there are better names to go long into.
Okay. And remember, while JSPL is in news today because they are talking with Yamata Kogyo to sell stake in the rail mill for 3,000 crores, I think it's a big day at the BSC, and it'll be interesting to hear views from Ravi Uppal, I think. And yes, he's with Mubina, waiting to enter the Bombay Stock Exchange building as well. And we'll, of course, hear out from him as he speaks to Nikunj a bit later on in the show. about the plans for the company going ahead as well. It's an important day, the BSE day, and it'll be important to hear out from him about what the sector is going through, the pain points and how can they be resolved, and what's the near-term and the medium-term trajectory for this company as well. So it'll be interesting to hear out this opinion.
Yeah, and especially from Ravi Uppal as well, post all the downgrades that have come in on their debt bonds. I think that's going to be a key question. What is it that they're doing about their debt pile, how they plan to tackle it all?
Selling the rail mill unit for 2,000 crores could be one.
Yes, baby steps there. But yeah, it's going to be an important interaction to hear out.
You bet. And Harendra, come in. Some of these companies, just before we hit the opening bell, some of these companies trying to reduce their debt, the market hasn't gone out and rewarded a lot of these. But from amongst the moves that a few have taken, which one have you liked the most?
So I think, on the infrastructure space, GMR has been very clear and categorical on the strategy of reducing their debt by selling assets. And we have seen a very clear roadmap on how they've gone about doing that. While they're not totally out of the woods, we are quite happy with what they've been saying and executing. So my guess is among this pack, of course, you have GMR. Then you have ITD Cementation, which went out and raised capital, and now they're doing well. So it's one of the companies who are recovered from the slowdown. And of course, you have NCC. So my guess is that, overall, as the space is deleveraging and opportunities come up. So the point to look for is, the sweet spot on the debt to EBITDA. The moment it comes to reasonable, the stock starts to rate it quite significantly. So there are opportunities there. And I think you are also discussing about Tata Steel. If you look at the valuations of most analysts, Chorus has a negative 200 rupees into the valuation. And if you get clarity over the next 2 years that they're going to exit the non-profitable plants, beyond the Phillip and steel prices that you've been seeing, you could get a pop in this stock as well. So clearly the trade on the metal stocks is also available over the short to medium term for traders and investors alike.
Okay, stay on, gentlemen, lots more to talk about, but very quickly, just about 50 seconds left for the pre-open. And the markets will start off well, so it'll be interesting to see what banks do, because yesterday, while the markets were a bit iffy, banks held out in trade, so it'll be interesting to see what the private banks and actually even the SBIs of the world are up to. From amongst the newsmakers, do watch out for pharma in particular. Sun Pharma also has some news bits to itself, including some brokerage notes. They're also acquired prescription brands from Novartis in Japan as well. So there's some news bits for Sun Pharma. There is Tata Steel, which has rejected the UK plan, and Sandeep Sabharwal says it's a prudent strategy. Will the market reward it ever so, even if a tiny bit? And it'll be interesting to see what Tata Steel does in trade today, as also some of the high beta names. Do watch out for the Dish TVs and the Hathaways. All of them are increasing prices. Maybe there is an appetite even now for higher price set-top boxes. However, the first rates of the pre-open session, and they look okay. 7608 for the Nifty, the Sensex about 0.5%, which is probably a more believable rate. So the going looks good for now. In fact, it will be good at the end of 8 minutes as well. BPCL is an unnatural 6.5% downtick on the Nifty, which is why, okay, and that is corrected, and which is why the Nifty was looking a bit iffy. But I think that will change. What's doing well, the commodity names and the banks, as well as the auto names, should come up, because all of these had a spectacular day of trade. IndusInd Bank, Tata Motors, Bajaj Auto, State Bank of India. In all probability, these names should be okay. Bring up Natco after a terrible last 2 days, wherein it's lost almost 15-16%. Could there be a semblance of sanity for Natco Pharma? One would certainly be hoping that. And Lupin, that big crack in trade. But remember, you could argue that the day was a day of recovery for Lupin, because it cracked almost 12%, ended down only 6%. And maybe, just maybe, there could be upsides today.
Yeah, just some other stocks which could be in focus. And it seems that after New Delhi, it's Bihar which is mulling a ban on gas guzzlers. So yeah, it just could be sentiment negative maybe for M&M and Tata Motors. Although yesterday turned out to be a very strong day for autos. So just maybe the strength would actually continue. We've seen how the Delhi news has also got absorbed into stock prices as well, barring a sentiment knee jerk. It hasn't gone beyond that any longer. So So Motherson Sumi, Tata Motors, all these stocks have started off very, very smartly in trade. But before anything else, let's go across to Ajay, find out what the D Street chatter is this Wednesday morning. Ajay, the three stocks?
Good morning, Aisha. Aisha, Hexaware is first stock to watch out for. In fact, yesterday's 45-minute action did indicate a lot of shorting. Delivery-based selling is also happening. And in general, institutional desks are saying that there are outflows from that particular counter. So watch out for that. Could come under pressure. Lupin already is ticking higher by almost 2%, and that is a call which is coming this morning from traders. All the brokerage reports, most of them are also indicating towards a contra buy, and they expect a rebound or retracement of yesterday's fall in today's action. Lupin is higher by almost 2%, and the last one is Bharat Forge. Now, data indicates that not only fresh long positions were taken yesterday, but traders believe that even the institutions are getting into that counter once again. And last evening, this particular company has inked a tie-up with a foreign company to manufacture Humvee platforms in India. So that's an interesting one to watch out for. And the stock is already in strong hands, and the dealers are recommending longs.
What's Humvee, Ajay? Pardon my ignorance when it comes
Aisha,
to
Humvee
the subject.
is an iconic, massive, iconic vehicle. Mostly used
Hummers.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. Okay, I didn't know the technical word for Hummer was Humvee.
There are buyers, including Amika Singh, for that. So, yeah, would be interesting to see the impact thereof. But, yeah, thanks a lot. These days, a lot of these iconic brands are getting a lot of flavor in the market. Could Mindtree become one? There is a bit of an upgrade that is coming in after stock has fallen quite a bit. And Pranay is here to tell us what's the Credit Suisse view on Mindtree. Pranay, good morning.
Good morning, Neeraj. The reason why they have an outperform rating on Mindtree is because the stock has corrected 20% since its profit warning which came earlier this month. The management had candidly said that they are seeing delay in commencement of projects in a couple of areas, retail, consumer products, but BFSI, and because growth, when it slows down in BFSI, it naturally affects the margins as well. So Q4 is going to be soft. That is well understood. The reason why Credit Suisse likes the company at this price is because it is very confident of the long-term story. Last 2 years have been good, but the margins have come off to 15% at EBIT level from 17-18 because of a couple of margin dilutive acquisitions such as Bluefin, Magnet 360. Also, the company is expanding pretty aggressively. On-site hiring has increased. So as a result, it believes that most of this is in the price. Q4 is going to be soft, but you can expect again class-leading growth next year as well. The company is priced at 16.5 times 1-year forward earnings. So valuations are pretty premium over here, and they expect a 15% EPS growth over the next 2 years and just a modest 50 basis point margin expansion coming forward because they believe that integration of the acquisitions is well on its way. But because of investment continuing over here, they don't expect significant improvement in the margins going forward.
Okay, thanks a lot for that, Pranay. Just while we've spoken about the rupee, just bring up the bond yields as well. And just show you the macro after the Janet Yellen commentary. And 66.41 for the currency, yes, appreciation there. And then the bond yield ever so marginally, actually. Not too much of a change, but should be interesting. Actually, I think there are some reverse repo auctions as well that are slated for today and tomorrow. Yesterday I was hearing some announcements about the timing thereof as well. But nevertheless, I think the commentary from Janet Yellen would probably have a bit of an impact there. Maybe the April 5th action could have a bigger impact. Let's see what happens here. Nevertheless, for people who are tuning in right now, wondering what to do with the index, what kind of strategies here, Siddarth, Bhamre, what's a prudent strategy for tomorrow on the index, be it options, be it futures?
Neeraj, we are not expecting a huge move on remaining 2 days of expiry, including today. Reason being, last week as well as 2 days of this week, FIs have been actively selling options. Just like in beginning of the series and mid of March series, ever since we are seeing this bounce back. These guys were buying put options and were buying futures, and that's the reason your put call ratio after quite some time went above 1 levels and was trading around 1.04 levels. And now we are seeing more of call writing. That's the reason put call ratio is coming down to 0.97. We have seen put writing also taking place around 75, 50. So I'm expecting market to take strong resistance between 7650 and 7700. And not expecting market to go below 7550, 7560 odd levels. So we are in a range of 70, 80, 100 points. We did recommend, beginning of this week to short strangle this market with 7650, 7700 and 7550. And I would suggest, even for traders who are looking for next 2 days, should short strangle this market, because just 1 day's correction has seen more than 400 basis point rise in implied volatility, which suggests that still, there is a lot of room for implied volatility to come down, and premiums are still decent with just 2 days left for expiry.
Cement has been the other interesting pocket. And Harendra, before we let you go, just a word on cement as well, because it seems like after a multi-decade-long hiatus for the entire sector, things finally seem to be moving. Do you have any interests or stock preferences when it comes to cement?
So cement, we like it because right over the last 3 quarters, the cement volume growth has shown very good numbers, starting from the last year's June quarter, where it was 3%, 6% now, and the last quarter they've given 9%. Excuse me. So the interesting dynamics is that now there is a lot of M&A which is happening in the space. No greenfield projects are being announced. So the capacity utilization, which had gone down, will start nudging upwards along with prices, and valuations are also reasonable. So obviously with Kesoram, Century, looking to get consolidated within Ultratech, I think the space is looking to get more and more consolidated. So overall, I think for the next 2 years, cement will remain a structural buy for most investors. So there are opportunities in the large, which is our preferred bet is Ultratech. I think in the smaller names, we do like Heidelberg Cement, which is placed in the central region of India, which will be the beneficiary of recovery in the space as well. So yes, we like cement as a pack, and these are potentially our 2 favorite bets within this space.
Great, Harendra. Always good having you. Thanks so much for taking the time out and joining us and giving us those perspectives.
Thanks, sir.
That's from Elara Capital. By the way, the first 8 minutes done, 7651 for the Nifty, 160 for the Sensex. So above 25,000 for the Sensex as well. The going seems to be okay. And Lupin is probably going to add some weight in today's session, about 3% higher. But I dare say, watch out for banks. They seem to be participating with gusto in the session today. Mitesh, if you had to trade one bank for the session today or for the next 2 days, a large cap bank, which one would that be?
See, I had a call on IndusInd Bank, and I think in the short term that looks the best bet. I think I do also like HDFC Bank. I think it's just trying to get past the 200 average, and once it does that, I think maybe today with a gap up, then I think we'll have a firm breakout above the 200 average, and I think that will also come on the buying radar. We've had calls in Kotak Bank earlier, so I think it's broadly the top 3 private sector banks that I'm interested to trade.
So, Sandeep Sabharwal, if somebody wants to make an investment in a large private bank, is it still HDFC, or do you believe a Kotak, IndusInd, or maybe some of the beaten down private banks like Axis and ICICI merit a look?
See, Axis and ICICI obviously merit a look. But I think now what we'll see is that I believe banks like IndusInd and HDFC Bank, they have gone through a large phase of consolidation. Like HDFC Bank yesterday, I was saying, for the last 15 months, it's been consolidating around these levels. I think it's ready for a move up. So growth prospects are good for that bank, and it's growing much faster than the overall market with I think 25-28% kind of growth. So I believe that consolidation phase is over. Whoever had to exit has exited. I think new buyers have come in now, and that stock is set for a rally. And normally when the rally starts in a bank like HDFC Bank, we get a 20-30% kind of rally, very silently with low volatility. So I think that will be a good bet today.
Does defense make any sense to buy into right now? I mean, it's long gestation, but the feelers coming in from the Defense Expo in Goa have been very positive.
Yeah, it's very positive, and the defense minister is very proactive, and a lot of things are happening in defense. And I believe that if Make in India has to be successful, this will be one part which will be successful, because in consumer, let's say for smartphones or a lot of these other things, you are more dependent on MNCs for Make in India. But in these, in the defense thing, it's more of the Indian companies which will participate and which will be successful. But the only point which investors have to recognize is you have to take a longer term view, because by any yardstick, it will be at least 3 years before any meaningful contribution of these things come into the profit P&L account.
Indeed. Okay, on that note, let's just recap all the top trading strategies coming in from our experts. And let me start off with Mitesh's ideas. He's got a buy call on IndusInd Bank, wherein he sees a target of 960 on the stock. McLeod Russell as well is an intraday buy with a target of 198, stop at 182.50. He's also got a buy recommendation on Shriram Transport Finance with the target 960, and Z, wherein he recommends a sell with the target of 365 and a stop at 386. CK Narayan then, he's got two buy strategies in Bajaj Auto as well as Bharat Forge, targets 920 and 2480 respectively.
Very quickly though, let's nail it down to that one top idea for the day. Mitesh, very quickly, your top call for the morning.
Yeah, I would choose a buy on IndusInd Bank, and that's a buy with a stop at 914 for targets close to about 960.
CK, what is your top idea for the day?
Long Bharat Forge at about 895, stop 885, targeting 920.
Okay, Siddarth, Bhamre, very quickly, 10 seconds, your top call for the morning.
Yeah, so I would continue to trade with negative bias on L&T for the target and stop loss I mentioned.
Okay, Larsen and Dubro from Siddarth, Bhamre is stable. Thanks, Siddarth, for joining in today and giving us your thoughts. But let's take it across now. 2 minutes left for the markets to open, and Nikunj has a very special guest with him at the BSE. Nikunj, take it away.
Thanks, Neeraj. And we are the Bombay Stock